And I think one thing that I was really excited about this conversation. I think one thing that I found really interesting about your profile. So you have been um, working in an era of transformation. So if we look at last 20 years, there was a talk around SIP phones, then there was a talk around cloud, then there was a on-prem, then there was a and now AI, cloud, and apps. So we have gone through a bunch of those cycles in last 20 years. Now, considering yourself out of Udacity, like when you were before Udacity happened, all these platforms were emerging, right? From your vantage point, what do you think has how the retraining effort or educating effort for the companies has happened for last 20 years, taking Udacity out of this equation, like just your perspective?
So outside of Udacity, we are going through, businesses and nations are facing the most radical shift in skills needed to succeed in the history of the world. Over the next 5 years, hundreds of millions of jobs of the past will be eliminated due to AI, ML, and automation. And at the same time, hundreds of millions of digital jobs of the future will be created due to the same factors. The challenges businesses face is that 82% of the Global 2000 self-admit to having a major skills gap in things like cloud, cybersecurity, AI, ML, data analytics, things like that. And 70% say it's preventing innovation. And as a result, they're spending $1.8 trillion this year on digital transformation efforts, but a majority of those projects will fail primarily due to lack of talent. So we are in an era unlike any other era in the history of the world, where the pace of innovation has accelerated to unbelievable speed, and also the traditional companies that exist across the country can't staff their projects to keep up. They can't staff their projects to innovate. There's simply not enough people on the planet. And historically, they have relied on the university system to graduate people and to bring them along slowly. And that no longer works. The half-life of a skill today is 4 to 5 years. A university degree is 4 to 5 years and $200,000. By the time you graduate from university with that degree, like a lot of your skills are already going to be obsolete. So the existing infrastructure just does not support where we are as a world. Now, we think about this as what we call it is a 100% solvable problem, and we call the solution radical talent transformation. Right? You're not going to solve your problems by sending your employees to university or even trying to hire out of university. You're not going to solve your problems by making an online learning platform available and hoping for the best. It starts with making talent transformation a major initiative of the scale of your digital transformation efforts, because it's the people piece that's missing. It's not the technology piece that's missing. It requires organizations understanding the skills they're going to need, but more importantly, understanding the skills that exist within their workforce, which by and large organizations don't understand. Mapping which workers can reasonably in cohorts achieve what skills needs, and then taking a really programmatic approach to developing those skills, which will include something like a Udacity. We actually have an enterprise-grade solution that takes you through every one of these steps together. And it's not just about videos or project-based learning, all of which we have, right? But it's the planning and the program management and the strategy and the infrastructure that goes around it that make these things successful. So for the first time in history, enterprises and nations are going to have to deal with rapid reskilling themselves and not rely on a university system that is not fit for purpose.
Interesting. And what has been Udacity's journey been? Like, what has Udacity seen in the past to present? How has the world of retraining or relearning has evolved? If you can walk us through what has been the journey like?
Yeah, I mean, with all innovations, it starts with a great story. So Udacity's founder, Sebastian Thrun, was teaching a graduate level AI course at Stanford. And he decided in 2011 to put it online. And Stanford wasn't very happy about this, but he went ahead and did it. He got 160,000 enrollees in this graduate level Stanford AI course. 23,000 of them graduated the entire Stanford course, like, the same tests the Stanford students were going through. And the number one Stanford student scored number 413 in the class. It was a giant epiphany moment of, boy, you don't have to be the best of the best student at the most elite university to do some really sophisticated stuff. Now, that was the birth story. But since then, we realized, very quickly that, to get real employable job skills, you're not going to get there from a university curriculum. It's just not set up to do that, right? You need to actually take a completely different approach. You need to start with an employable job resume and work backwards. You need to build it so that to complete the programs, you actually have to do the job. So to complete a nano degree in as a self-driving car engineer, as an example, you have to upload your code into Udacity self-driving car, and using your code, it drives around a core, stops in a red, goes on green, doesn't hit stuff, right? It's that level of skills. You're designing to deliver that level of skills. And in terms of creating the actual video content that supports that, we're going out to industry and partnering with people like Waymo and Mercedes and BMW and others who are on the forefront of these technologies and create the curriculum around the state of the art and the people actually deploying the technologies, not a university curriculum that hasn't changed in a decade. So when we think about where we are today versus where we started in those humble early days, we took that first innovation and that insight and really pivoted to understanding, how do you create a super custom built differentiated solution that achieves what you want to achieve, which is different from what the university system was doing. And what we've done from that point is move from maybe a consumer oriented model to an enterprise and national government oriented model. The enterprise space is going through massive transformation right now. They're struggling. The pains are immense. CEOs rank lack of talent as their number one business risk today. And so we've built our platform and our program management around that concept of Udacity nano degree to serve enterprises and to serve nations trying to accomplish the same thing, which is building tech economies in their national footprint.